Alright guys, it's Dokkan time. We're gonna do the how to build for Broly. The Tech Broly Jr., Tech Broly the Second, or Carnival Tech Broly, whichever way you want to call him. But this is pretty much gonna be it. This guy's been giving me a rough time on how to build him, and honestly, it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm tired and I need to go to work in the morning. So let's try to get through this as quickly as possible. So this is Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. This is when he's transformed. In his base state, he doesn't really do anything. That's why I kind of plopped it up as soon as Broly. But anyways, on the right side of the screen, you will notice that there is only 2 builds, and that is his 55% and his 100% build. And that's because you should just be looking towards building him either for survivability, or you should be building him for what you're going to have him with dupes. And in my opinion, there's no other real way to use this Broly, and that is to just give him additional. You can give him a little bit of dodge, or you can give him crit. It's entirely up to you on that point, but the thing is, this Broly has built-in crit, so he doesn't really need that. He doesn't need dodge either because, well, he's defensively good enough, but he does need to get hit in order to proc part of his passive. The only reason I chose to put in dodge right there is because some people will, after watching this or even before it, probably prefer dodge. So I just threw that right there. You can replace that dodge with crit if you so choose to. Personally, I might, if I even get dupes for Broly, but I'm not even thinking that far ahead at the moment, as I only have a 55% at the time of recording. But anyways, so let's go ahead and look at his slots next. His roll tips here, he is primarily a defensive unit, but he can also do damage, as he does have built-in crit and additionals. As far as his leaders go, he himself and the Super Broly, Garudagarn are all very good leaders for him, as of right now, or his only choices for leaders. He himself is actually very difficult to run as a leader. Straight up 200% movie bosses is really rough. But as far as other options go, I mean, you have a 200% option with full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. You have a 170 option with the AGL Blue Duo, Blue Boys. And then you could also run heroes with the Mass Super Saiyan 3 Rose. As far as partners go, primarily Super Saiyans. Super Saiyans is his best links. He also shares some pretty decent amount of links with full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And then, of course, himself. The Int Saiyan Day Legendary Super Saiyan Broly is confirmed to get an EZA later in the celebration. Right now it's August 28th, and the EZA is not out yet, but I feel like later on he will be a unit you want to use. The same thing with the original LR Tech Broly. I have no doubt in my mind he will get an EZA during the celebration, because if he doesn't, we're all going to riot. And he will be a perfect partner for this Broly. And I threw in the free-to-play Trunks Broly just because. His best slot position is 100% going to be in slot 1 or slot 2. Entirely up to your playstyle, what other units you have on the team that can fill in slot 1. It just depends on you and your team building choices. So, let's just go into his kit here. His 200% option for leaders is not very good in my opinion. You got Garudagarn, Super Broly, and that's really it. Full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku's kind of pushing it these days. Wicked Bloodlines is a dead category. Terrifying Conquerors is slowly getting better, but I don't think Broly helps either of the Wicked Bloodline leaders right here, of AGL Frieza and STR Cooler. And then he doesn't have a place with Universe 6, in my opinion. You can run him on Turles' team. Turles' team is not meta-relevant in my current opinion. But I will say that STR Turles is a good unit to run along with Broly. STR LR Turles. God Goku is good still, but he has definitely fallen off. He is very slow to build up, and that is an issue in today's meta. So, I mean, he still is a viable leader, but I wouldn't say he's meta relevant. And base Broly is unable to attack. He has an active entrance animation, and then for 1 turn you have 90% damage reduction in slot 1, and otherwise you reduce damage received by 70%. and extreme class allies chance to perform a critical hit plus 50% as the second or third attacker in a turn, and extreme class allies key plus 2 attack and defense plus 60%, defense plus 200, and guards all attacks. So after turn 1, you will only be giving extreme class allies key plus 2 attack and defense plus 60%, and have defense plus 200% and guard. You will lose all of that damage reduction up top once he is transformed. You can transform him right away. That is completely viable. You can transform him right away. I will say he does change links once he transforms into Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. And he does raise attack and defense on 12 key, and greatly raises attack on 18, and does an AoE. Otherwise, he does no other mechanics. There's no other gimmicks here. Key plus 3 attack and defense 260, reduces damage received by 50% for 3 turns from character's entry turn, plus an additional damage reduction of 26%. So for 3 turns after you've transformed, he has 76% damage reduction. Plus an additional attack and defense 150 when performing a super. Plus an additional key plus 1 up to 5, and chance of performing a crit plus 10 up to 50 with each attack performed. This is part of why I was saying additional is best. Launch additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack, which is 50%, within the same turn after receiving attack, which was once again why I was saying necessarily dodge is not the best thing to choose for Broly, because he does depend on those additionals, and we'll discuss more when we get into his defense calculations. Plus an additional defense plus 200% before attacking, and guards all attacks as the first attacker in a turn. Launches an additional super attack as the second or third attacker in a turn. And plus an additional key plus 3 and chance of performing a crit plus 50% when there's a pure Saiyan or Earthbred fighter enemy, and disables the attacked enemy's action once within the turn when key is 24 or more. So this means if you're fighting a pure Saiyan or Earthbred fighter enemy, you have a 100% chance at full build-up. So once you've performed 5 attacks, you'll have a 100% chance to crit. This is why his build does not require crit. He does have an active skill that gives him key plus 3 attack and defense plus 26%. This is permanent as far as I'm aware right now. If I am wrong, I apologize, but as of right now, as of less than day 1, like it's the first 3 hours of him being out, that is permanent. Now, I don't know what is going on with Halvard, but his defense calculations are confusing right now. He messed up on his first build, and he had to repost it saying the maximum, but he didn't break it down again, so I'm not using his breakdown. I'm going to use Luke, Rocket Lizard OP Luke. Appreciate you, dude. Turn 1 with Turles support, and that's what I was telling you before. Turles is actually good support. 315k right there while he's in base, linked with the other Broly. Turn 3, after you've transformed, his damage can go up to 18 mil. Second super 13, third super 14 mil. Pretty decent amount of damage there. Defense at 451, linked with Broly. 1 super at 700k defense, 2 supers at 900, and 3 supers at 1.1 million defense. Mind you, that is with 50% damage reduction, at least. So, I mean, he can tank 2 million supers, which is pretty decent. Turn 5 with 1 stack of attack. 1 stack of attack. 1 stack of attack. Hold up. Did I misread his passive? Does he stack? He does. He greatly stacks his attack. That's why he was doing so much damage. So anyways, my point is he can do a lot of damage. But anyways, if you get him with the Super Broly domain, I mean, it's very unlikely you'll have this rotation, but it's an example of what his defense could potentially look like post-super and his damage post-super. He can get pretty nasty with that damage, and this was what I was saying, is like he can definitely do damage if he manages to triple quad super in a different slot with your hidden potential proccing, the 50% damage reduction, domains up, support up. I mean, this Broly can look very good defensively and offensively. So, this is something I really wanted to emphasize here, is like, yes, this is him all stacked up, but this is also an ideal situation. I mean, it's not ideal with the base Broly down there, But I mind you, you can replace that base Broly with other support units, potentially anyways. So, I mean, even if you took away the base Broly's support, I really do feel like you could still be in a very largely good amount of defense. And currently in the currently in the state of the game, I would feel like as long as you can potentially get a double super off with him, no matter what, at least 2 supers. At Rainbow anyways, he's tanking virtually all the 3 million supers in the game. And right now, I mean, 3 million isn't the height of all the damage that can happen, but it is definitely one of the higher numbers you want to look out for. So, I mean, he can tank pretty decently well. I think he's still good. He could be better, and I think at 55% you should be wary a little bit because his defense will be much lower. But this is not a unit you're gonna waste your time on with dodge or die. No, you want to go full additional, and then put the rest into either crit or just have a little bit of dodge for insurance purposes. But otherwise, I don't feel like there's any other way to build him. This is it, in my opinion. So, let me know how you're going to build the new Carnival LR TEQ Broly. Have a good day and a good night, everyone. Good luck on your summons.